Good afternoon. You're with the news on headlines today. I'm Padmaja Joshi, and the news we are getting at this moment after Mars aids the moon, but this time it's going to be a manned mission. Headlines today has learnt that ISRO, the Indian Space Research Organisation, and the Defence Ministry have signed a memorandum of understanding for India's manned moon mission. The MOD has tasked the Indian Air Force to identify the qualitative requirements for the crew. The Director General, Armed Forces and Medical Services is to draw out the requirements. The process will include identifying 5 most suitable men for the mission. ISRO has tasked the IAF with the task to identify 5 men for this mission.
The Indian Space Research Organisation and the Ministry of Defence are working together on sending a man to moon. To tell us more about India's first manned mission to moon is the Director General of Armed Forces Medical Service, Air Marshal D.P. Joshi. Also with me is Air Marshal A.K. Behel, DGMS Air. Air Marshal Joshi, tell us more about what this manned mission to moon is all about.
Thank you. At this present time, we are not very sure as to what details will be worked out in due course of time. As far as we are concerned, we've been given the responsibility of selecting a person who can be sent in a manned mission to moon. We will be responsible for selecting the person, making sure that he is updated on all the aeromedical and space requirements when he goes there, and the effects of space which he has in that particular environment.
Okay. Air Marshal Behel, what does it take to send a man on moon? What kind of a person are you looking for? A fighter pilot, an engineer, or maybe an Aam Aadmi?
You see, we have to understand what are his requirements of a human being on Earth when he goes to the moon. One, he has to sustain a lot of acceleration. Then he has to be in a very rarefied atmosphere, in microgravity or near zero gravity situations. So the person which we intend to evaluate anybody, you said Aam Aadmi or pilot or engineer, we will evaluate him so that he passes all these tests with flying colors, because our purpose is to send a fit person in a safe way, and he should be able to complete the task and the mission over there.
Okay. Now, the Indian Space Research Organisation wants you to draw out the air staff requirements, or what is expected of a man, what kind of an environment will he be, what is it that you've been working on this moon mission?
In fact, the first step was to get into the understanding of the space flights and research organization. And secondly is to get the right type of equipment. I mean, the right type of equipment has already reached the Institute of Aerospace Medicine in Bangalore. And we are now evaluating a lot of things, the physiological parameters, the skeletal parameters, the laser parameters of his anthropometric bodies. Because space is a very closed, the spacecraft is a very closed area. And then we'll require a person to be fitting into those areas. So lots of parameters are being measured. And all these will be evaluated, and after that selection processes will be carried out based on medical.
Okay. Air Marshal Behel, do we have a timeline? This is said to be a 10,000 crore rupee project, sending a man on moon or a woman on moon, as the case may be. Is there a timeline for this?
So we've just about started. We had a MOU with the ISRO recently. We have just got the equipment. At the moment, we are doing verifying our data, that all the parameters which we want, are they reasonable, are they this thing? So we are verifying the data. We've also sought inputs from other countries which have sent people into space. So we've got those data. Now we are in the process of verifying this. As and when the ISRO finally comes up with a vehicle and the plan to send up the moon, we'll be there ready to evaluate the person, and we will be along with them in sending the man on the moon.
Excellent. Now, Wing Commander Rakesh Sharma, again an Air Force man like you, like both of you, was India's first man in space. So will it be an Air Force man who will go there, perhaps a fighter pilot or an engineer, or can it be a civilian?
This is a very good question. See, if you see all the manned space flights, whether they are states or the Russian ones, they have always been headed by a fighter pilot. Because I think personally he's the commander of the aircraft, and the landing and taking off things are known best to him. The other members of the team can be a doctor and an engineer who can do on-course repairs if necessary. And there will be scientists who will then evaluate what is to be done at that particular place. It will always be probably a team which will look after the space requirements.
Okay. Now, for the mission, for now, the effort has started This is work in progress, but at this stage, the first effort, sources in ISRO tell headlines today, is to send an unmanned mission on moon, a robotic mission, wait for the parameters and then send a man on moon. And our guests on the show, as Air Marshal Joshi and Air Marshal Behel, are telling us, for them, the work has already started. With cameraman Parminder Sharma in Delhi, Gaurav Sawant, headlines today.
In fact, Wing Commander Rakesh Sharma, who Gaurav just spoke about, is with us on the phone line. So what an exciting prospect that we'll see another Air Force man in space soon and likely to be a part of India's moon mission.
Well, I must say that I have been waiting a long time to hear this news. In fact, 5 years ago, there was some talk already that the whole project has been sanctioned, but for some reason it has been in cold storage up till now. So it's certainly very exciting to hear that it's being restarted, and I think these are exciting times for those aspirants who are going to go through the selection process, and I can only tell them that when they make it through it, it's going to be a very rewarding experience taking part in the space flight.
Logistically speaking, sir, how soon do you think this ambitious dream of our country can really materialize?
Well, I don't know how it is being said that we are preparing crews to go to the moon, because I guess this will have to be a very cautious journey towards that, in that first we have got to have the launcher capability, which we presently have not yet tested. Then we'll need to have man-rated systems which we need to test. And after that, we will need to send our astronauts into near-Earth orbit before we shoot them off the moon. So, to my mind, this is going to take some, and some doing is going to take some while.
Final question to you, Wing Commander Sharma. This is the final frontier. How do you see India's journey as far as all these missions are concerned? We've truly made our mark for a developing country. We've made our mark, proven that we are right up there when it comes to these achievements, sir.
Well, I would say that I've always been an admirer of what ISRO has achieved. And what they have achieved thus far is truly impressive, in the sense that they have remained focused on applications technology, and they have today earned the respect of the community globally, in the sense that we are running a very successful space program on a shoestring budget, and we are doing it all on our own. So given that background, I have no doubt that we shall continue to taste success in our future endeavors. And therefore, I am, apart from being a proud Indian, I'm really expecting much, much greater glory for ISRO in the years to come. And I'm really excited that this whole initiative has restarted, and I just wish it all the very best.
Wing Commander Rakesh Sharma, the first Indian to fly into space. Thanks so much for speaking to Headlines Today. I want to get a quick reaction from Headlines Today's Editor Strategic Affairs, Gaurav Sawant, as well, who's broken that story. Remember, you heard it first on Headlines Today. What exactly is the plan going to be like from here on, Gaurav?
Padmaja, at this stage, the Air Force also very cagey in sharing information. This is at a very preliminary stage just as yet. The Indian Space Research Organization has tasked the Indian Air Force to prepare the air staff requirements, the qualitative requirements, who's the best man, the man best suited to go in space and land on moon. The timeline, of course, the Air Force not very clear about it, or not willing to share many details. The timeline, from what sources in the Air Force have told Headlines Today, is around 2015-16. They would send an unmanned mission to moon. A robo would be sent on moon, and a lot of parameters would then be checked based on this unmanned mission to moon. That is priority one. Should that mission be successful, stage 2 is a manned flight to moon, for which preparation has already started. There's a lot of equipment that has already been imported from several countries in the world. including Russia and the United States, where such exercises have already been carried out in the past. There are studies from there, experts are also being called in from there to take advantage of their knowledge and to gain from them. The Air Force is extremely serious about this operation. Preliminary exercises have already started at the Institute of Aviation Medicine, at Aerospace Medicine in Bangalore, because they are best suited for this job. More than that, the Air Force said, by and by, out of this 10,000 crore rupee project, the initial payment of 10 crores has been made. The process has just started, but this clearly, Padmaja, is no flight of fancy anymore.
Well, definitely not. Final question to you, Gaurav. What does the MOD and ISRO have to say to all the naysayers who think that an unnecessary amount of money is being spent on endeavours like this, something that a developing country like ours cannot afford?